My husband is annoying. Throwaway account because my husband is an avid Reddit user and also follows me. I have been with my husband for 8 years and married for 4. He has given me 2 beautiful sons, and he has a daughter from a previous relationship that we have every other week. I love my husband so deeply, but I'm not sure how long I can keep loving him because of how annoying he is. Hear me out. We are both in our early 30s. I can't watch a movie without this man starting to make funny sounds like beatboxing, rapping or shouting random words or phrases out loud. He is more rough with our sons than what they want him to be, and they can be rough, and it usually ends in tears. He throws them, pretends to beat them up, takes their stuff and runs off, calls them mean nicknames and plays practical jokes. I know I sound awful. I know it just looks like he's a loving dad heavily invested in his son's playtimes, but the boys really don't enjoy it. They nearly always beg him to stop, but it falls on deaf ears until I intervene. When the boys decide they want to play back, he immediately starts sulking and getting moody with them for being too rough. He is very insistent on creating his own questionable fashion choices and gets deeply hurt and offended if anyone tries to break it to him that, we worded in nicer times, he simply looks ridiculous. Examples of this would be his socks pulled up as high as they can go, usually up to his knees, and then he will roll his shorts up until they're about halfway up his thigh. This is just one example, I can list hundreds. He is an incredibly messy person to live with. His favorite habit is leaving his socks and boxers everywhere, tools everywhere, and just general day-to-day mess from not clearing up after himself. I love him deeply, and I do not feel I have the right to change someone, but I'm starting to think we are not compatible. I am worried I am just a huge buzzkill and my sons are very much like me. I'm worried he would be much happier in a jokey, non-serious family. I am worried I would be happier with a more serious man. I don't know who to talk to about this because everyone who knows us sees us as this picture-perfect family. There are daily arguments in our household. I am constantly having to separate him from our sons like he's also a child, and I can never enjoy adult time with him without him acting like a child. I don't know what to do other than just rant because it's eating me up inside. Our sons are 5 and 3. Let me analyze this story for you. This story is a raw and emotionally conflicted reflection on the invisible weight of living with a partner who never truly grows up and how that can erode intimacy, respect, and connection over time. On the surface, the narrator's husband appears to be a playful, quirky, and deeply involved father, a man who loves his children, finds joy in being silly, and is unafraid to break convention. But the heart of the story reveals a far more complicated and painful reality. This isn't about minor personality clashes or occasional frustration, it's about the profound dissonance that arises when one partner becomes emotionally exhausting, more like an additional child than an equal. The narrator is not simply annoyed by her husband's antics, she's overwhelmed, exhausted, and quietly heartbroken by the slow unraveling of respect and compatibility in their marriage. His constant joking, attention-seeking behavior, and refusal to respect boundaries, especially their sons, isn't just irritating, it's harmful. His idea of love and play involves teasing, chaos, and domination, often pushing their children to tears despite their clear requests for him to stop. This creates a deeply unsettling emotional landscape, where the children's emotional boundaries are repeatedly ignored, and the narrator is cast in the role of peacekeeper, constantly stepping in, constantly mitigating harm. Over time, that repeated role morphs from care into quiet resentment. It's not just about parenting styles, though that is a major fault line here. It's also about emotional maturity and relational balance. The husband's relentless immaturity, his exaggerated fashion choices, and his need to be the center of attention, be it through loud noises during a movie or sulking when he doesn't get his way, paint a picture of someone who is not just quirky, but chronically self-absorbed and emotionally underdeveloped. This leaves the narrator emotionally alone in the relationship. She's not married to a partner who shares her adult world, one of emotional nuance, responsibility, and reflection, but to someone who refuses to leave the realm of impulsive boyishness. What makes her experience so painful is not simply that her husband is annoying, plenty of marriages survive mild to moderate annoyance. It's that she feels trapped. She feels like she's the only adult in the room, raising 3 children instead of 2, and trying to hold together the illusion of a picture-perfect family while privately shouldering emotional and mental burdens that no one else sees. The image of their life, what friends and family believe, is a cruel contrast to the exhausting emotional labor she performs every day. Her husband's behaviors, which might seem harmless or amusing from the outside, are, in her lived experience, an ever-present strain that leaves her lonely and emotionally starved. The story is steeped in guilt. The narrator is careful not to paint herself as cruel or ungrateful. She acknowledges that her husband has given her beautiful children, that he's not abusive or evil, and that she does love him deeply, she emphasizes. And yet, that love is deteriorating under the weight of unmet emotional needs, repeated frustrations, and a growing sense that they are fundamentally incompatible. She worries she's a buzzkill, a bad wife, someone who's trying to stifle joy. But what she's really trying to stifle is chaos. What she's craving isn't control, it's peace, maturity, and emotional safety. What's perhaps most tragic is how isolated she feels in this struggle. She can't tell anyone the truth about her marriage because the performance they all witness, the fun dad, the wacky husband, is so compelling. She doesn't know how to reconcile the external perception with her internal reality, which adds another layer of loneliness and guilt. To outsiders, she might seem ungrateful, uptight, or even cruel. But to those who truly understand the toll of long-term emotional labor, the real tragedy is clear. She's been partnered with someone who refuses to grow up, and in doing so, he's made her grow old too quickly, emotionally burdened, constantly managing, always compensating. The dilemma she faces isn't just whether to stay or leave, it's whether she can continue living in a version of love that demands so much of her, while giving her so little peace in return. She wants her family to work. She wants to protect her children from the fallout. She doesn't want to tear apart the home they've built. But deep down, she's beginning to realize that love alone isn't enough when there's no shared sense of emotional adulthood. And while she doesn't say it outright, the fear that whispers through every line of her story is devastatingly clear. What if this is as good as it gets? What if it never changes? What if I lose myself in the process of trying to hold this together? This story is not just a rant. It's the quiet unraveling of a woman who once believed that love could bridge every gap until she realized she'd been trying to build that bridge alone.